Hi, everyone. This is a quick informational on what GoFundMe did in the last few weeks around starting nonprofit pages without the consent of organizations and confusing the process of what donors can experience when actually trying to donate to an institution or organization. So essentially, last week, what happened was GoFundMe launched 1.4 million nonprofit giving pages. These pages were searchable on the web. So if I searched nonprofit name plus donate, because of the strength of GoFundMe from an SEO perspective, they would show up in a link below, right below the giving page of the organization itself. So I, as a donor, could click into GoFundMe. I would see the fundraising page that has information about the organization, your tax ID, your logo, your website links. I'd go through the donate process, actually be asked to tip 16% to GoFundMe, press submit, and never know that you as an organization were not notified and are not actually running a fundraiser off of GoFundMe. The money itself from the GoFundMe page, if I were to donate to an unclaimed organization, would sit there and either be distributed after 3 to 5 months of an unclaimed account. That would go by way of a check if a mailing address was confirmed. If GoFundMe could not confirm the accuracy of the nonprofit, they would not refund the donor, but instead distribute the funds elsewhere. I will show that legal language they use later on this call. Because of the pushback of all of the organizations saying this is unacceptable behavior, GoFundMe decided to remove from search those pages. So no longer is there a nonprofit finder on their GoFundMe page directly, but there's also, if I were to search nonprofit name plus donate, it would no longer search on the web. That does not mean that people can't fundraise on your behalf without your knowledge, that funds can't be sent your way without your knowledge and be distributed somewhere else if it goes to an unclaimed account. So I'm going to quickly show you what that experience is like on GoFundMe pages directly. So with that in mind, the current state is people can still fundraise. They can create fundraisers without you knowing. And if the funds are unable to be distributed to you after a 90-day period, they will be granted to another nonprofit. As all of this experience implies, the donor thinks they've donated to you. They think you know that they've donated. Meanwhile, you have no knowledge. So it's very important to be aware of, even though, yes, it's not searchable on the web, there's still implications behind having an unclaimed web page. So AI, unfortunately, their customer service, I have not been able to be in touch with at all. They have Ray, this AI chatbot that has provided a lot of false information and redirected me to articles that are different than what it stated to me. So I'm referring mainly to their help desk articles rather than the chatbot for a lot of this information. But I just wanted you to be aware that we are actively monitoring this, and day by day, information is changing. Essentially, what they're saying is to claim your account, you have to select your organization, add your home address and your name, and roll at the nonprofit. If that isn't enough proof for them, then you might need to provide something like your ID or pay stub. So regardless, this is unacceptable in my mind because you're having to provide legal documentation perhaps about you without you ever having the option to opt into this. This is where you're having to decommission your page that you never wanted published in the first place. The good news is with some of these steps, it makes it harder for an unknown entity to try and claim your nonprofit page or pretend to be you. But these are extra steps that, again, shouldn't have happened in the first place. So I'm going to quickly change over to the actual web experience and show you what this experience is like in the first place. So to see if you as an organization have a nonprofit page, from the homepage, go to fundraise, go to sign up as a nonprofit. When you click into this sign up as a nonprofit, you can claim your nonprofit page. Here, you can search for any name. I'm going to use a name that is just a local hospital in my area, Wentworth Douglas. And when you select it, I'm Wentworth Garden Historic House Association, that also works. When you select a nonprofit, it would let you confirm that this is the one you want, and it's going to ask you for your legal information to confirm that you are an entity to be able to claim your account. Once you've claimed your account, this is when you can hide it from being searched at all or remove it from GoFundMe in its entirety. The reason why you might want to do this is going back to the homepage. A complete stranger can go in and charity fundraise. So I can go in and create a fundraising effort. I can start a GoFundMe for any nonprofit I want. So I can go back to this unclaimed account and begin a fundraiser, even though a nonprofit does not have an account dedicated on GoFundMe. This means I can create this complete stranger, write whatever I want to try and fundraise for this organization. So I'm going to start without an occasion. It's going to start creating a story for me of what I might be fundraising for. It creates text for me about why I might be donating for this fund, for this nonprofit. As I continue, the good news is that I could not personally withdraw the money. It would have to go to the fundraiser. However, I'm going to zoom in here. It will say that donations will be sent directly if they already have an account through GoFundMe Pay. If not, PayPal Giving Fund will try and distribute the funds within 90 days if they aren't enrolled in the PayPal Giving Fund. If after reasonable efforts, this is what is wild to me, if after reasonable efforts, PayPal Giving Fund is unable to grant the funds, the donor is not refunded. Instead, the money will be granted to another nonprofit. So going back to the original initiative, if you have someone fundraising for you without your knowledge on an unclaimed account, the money will never get to you if PPGF is unable to ascertain or confirm your details. You will never know that this fundraiser existed in the first place. Your donors won't know that you have not received the funds, and instead a random organization would receive the money. That, in my mind, is overstepping well beyond what GoFundMe should be doing whatsoever. So one thing to be aware of as well is when you are looking up your name, if you are part of a larger national organization, let's say you have local chapters, you might have more than one account. So back to claim your nonprofit page. I'm going to just put in my alma mater here. Dartmouth College has multiple different entities because they're regional groups, they're sports teams, there's various different initiatives here. So you would have to claim every single account depending on the number of tax ID numbers you have. So if you are a national organization with state representatives or local regional organizations, make sure you're confirming that all of your pages are actually going to be claimed. There is a web page that was really helpful last week that I will link to. This goes through the exact steps that GoFundMe took last week. This has not been updated to the changes I referenced around removing from SEO and search, but it is helpful in explaining how to decommission your page once you've claimed the account so that it isn't searchable in these search fields that I'm showing here. That way there's no confusion, there's no false fundraising, and you have complete ownership of your name and branding. One thing to be aware of is GoFundMe. The one thing I noticed inaccurate with the article that I was just sharing in the comparison table, which is right here, it says 2.2% with 30 cents per donation. This is actually inaccurate. I'm seeing 2.9% on GoFundMe's page and 30 cents per donation. So that's pretty in line with most giving pages across other platforms. But again, this was just a high-level overview. You can decide what steps to take around whether or not you want to claim your account. Supposedly from Ray, the AI chatbot, there is an opportunity to have the page just completely decommissioned. That's if there's no action after 365 days. The challenge with that is I don't know if someone is doing a fundraiser. Let's say your organization is a camp or something that someone might need a fundraise to be able to attend. They aren't fundraising on your behalf, but they might reference you. I don't know if that reference of, hey, help me get into X or raise funds for Y, if that reference will essentially make the account um, connected, have some sort of restriction in not being decommissioned. I truly don't know. So you can either keep the account unclaimed. Supposedly it'll be taken down after 365 days. I've only seen that in one location. I think GoFundMe is scrambling right now with the feedback they've received in the last week and a half. Or you can claim your account and delist it. Regardless, I would make sure that you understand what page or pages are still available on GoFundMe. We will be monitoring this closely because, again, even over the last few days, things have shifted. And I'm hoping that continued negative feedback will ultimately result in the complete removal of these pages that you all have not actually agreed to have shared elsewhere. At Wavelength, we're very aware that donors and alumni relations and constituent engagement is very much based off of trust, and this was completely destabilizing around how you can build trust with donors. And then in this case, B2B, building trust around GoFundMe has created these accounts without your permission and knowledge, and the funds received aren't in your control. And that is quite challenging, especially when you don't have control of what the language is around your marketing campaigns on a page that you didn't even agree to having launched live. So if you have any questions, we are here to help. We are also learning alongside you all, but we felt it important to share out. Thank you all for your time.